Hope you all feel the emotions. Woo! Sunshine, yeah, the sunshine. Sunshine. The sunshine. The sunshine. Sunshine. Okay, and welcome everybody to this quiet and sacred space that my divine friends here and I have created to welcome and celebrate this age and dawning of Aquarius in this now moment. So I'm Barbara, a passionate writer and artist and advocate of consciousness, sharing through my books, my classes, weekly blogs and live videos, my own awakening and ascension journey. My true and quite magical experience, moving from a world full of fear to one of love. This weekend is a very special linear time, an opportunity for the whole of humanity, the human collective, to begin to awaken to the truth of our human experience, moving from a world of duality into knowing who we are and into this embrace of love. So in this now moment, the stars, the planets are all lined up quite magically. You've probably heard a lot. We've never been through this before, they say it happened so many years ago, but actually it happened thousands of years ago. So this is really quite a special time. A time to offer everybody the chance to open their heart and receive their true sovereign and divine light. So for the past 33 years, since the harmonic convergence in the late 80s, many hearts have been on a most personal awakening or ascension journey, working with our innermost selves, the earth and the cosmos, in preparation for this time, for all humanity to awaken, raising the vibration of earth, so we can all enjoy this true living experience of harmony right here. So not having to die and go away, but no, right now, it's all possible, but everybody has to choose. It has been, and this time will continue, this linear time, where our solar system cycles through this galactic photonic belt of immense electromagnetic radiation. Such an intense pure light that's made it all possible to change and transmute the entire magnetics and structures of our carbon-based Earth and the human body mind to one of crystalline. So all the intention, all with the intention, should I say, returning Earth and humanity to their true, higher, multidimensional state of being, with, I must add, the added ingredient of our human passion and wisdom we have all gained after a long and hard experience of duality. So you could say where we're going, returning back into divine light plus the human wisdom, this intelligence, it does not exist anywhere. And we can say the galactics are very intelligent, they're helping us. But with this human experience that we have, there is nothing better than us, nothing higher than us. So we can really embrace this knowing that we are so sovereign, unique, and magnificent. So that was a little bit of the actual what's happening. I'm sure you're going to hear a little bit more from other people. I just wanted to say, this whole experience, you can maybe look at it as, let me see, it's like an organic compression of Earth and humanity, squeezing out everything other than love. It's crushing the darkness, our fear, belief in lack. And as more people choose to stand up and be themselves, choosing love, sovereignty, and freedom, we as a collective will eventually flip, quantum jump out of this physical matrix of fear. So this is like where we are now, but there has to be more and more. We've reached the tipping point, but we need now all humanity to join together and then truly flip, and it's happening. And this is why it's so exciting and we can celebrate. Now, I would just like to introduce all my friends here. I'll start with Elka, and then if you'd like to introduce yourself.
So, hello everybody. I am Elke Ulrike Weigel and I live in Germany at a village in Bavaria. So, because I'm German and not English speaking, I need a little script. Since my childhood, I love the rainbow colors and I enjoy being in the great outdoors. I dearest create my pictures of soul joy, hand-painted in rainbow colors with glitter and gold, as flower photos by camera, and in the form of words at my blog. With that, I share my sensitive impression of this world with you. All my intuitive art invites you to discover how I perceive beauty and joy of life in our nature, the inner nature and the outer nature. It lets you see and feel how the joy of soul is expressing in my life. So please feel free to be inspired in your own way. Thank you.
And Leslie, you can't lip read, sorry. Leslie, do you want to introduce yourself? You also have to unmute.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Firstly, I run a group of my own, which is worldwide, and we use what we call transfiguration and allow our guiding lights to talk through us, basically. That's the senior group. The junior group are really learning about basics and how to understand the awakenings that they are feeling at the moment. And there's been a lot of awakenings going on with the young people. And the young people are now jumping straight into the galactic field. As an amateur astronomer, whenever we get any links through, I always ask for a quadrant number, which is an M for mother, and some numbers. I look these up on my star maps and I'm able to point out exactly where their guides are coming from. So they can look up into the sky, they can take the children into the garden and say, look, this is where I'm connected to. And it brings the children into a lovely fold of happening that it's natural what they're receiving, rather than saying, oh, it's your imagination, it's your imagined friends, etc. I came to do all this through spiritualism, and I belong to a National Union Church, which is the SNU, of which I became quite a strong member with the local church and become secretary of that church. So I have the sense of responsibility when dealing with the public, which helps those to understand much easier. I could go on for a long while, so I won't do that. I will say that this morning I received a transcript because all my books, my channeled books, are done through transcripts. And this transcript written on the day of the live transmission with Barbara Franken group, taking part to celebrate the Age of Aquarius. Now, the Age of Aquarius, as far as I understand, was brought forward with a 144 pointed grid, which these 144 grids are all around the Earth plane. And the last point was brought into line, if I can put it that way, because they're all on ley lines, during this year and last year. So that's why we're feeling such a big push at the moment with the awakenings. So from them, they said, dear child of space, may we present, it is I, Munchien, Minstriel, and yes, please, to keep the connection at bay for me. That's what I wanted to know. Those two were going to be with me tonight. I have Munchien, which is my guiding light, which is also flesh and blood connection, of the DNA of the Earth as well as Andromedan. he's my main push there. Minstriel is part of the Galactic Federation, and I'm hoping that he will come forward and speak through me later on. Minstriel speaking, he says, "Most wise dear one, you are very precious to us, and we know how much these media lives mean to you, with some taking place in the new year 2021. Leslie, there are some very strong forces out in the cosmos. We are privy of these forces and what disruption they cause through the mind-to-mind links of the awakened souls of your humanoid species. Blessings for this communication. Now stop fretting," because I was fretting this morning that they wouldn't be with me. "All things come naturally on the given time of transmission." So we will wait for that. They signed off with their signatures, and underneath, "your 3 outer world leaders of worlds through the Galactic Federation of Light Beings in Andromeda." So I'm hoping that will make sense when I do a transfiguration later on. And that's all from me.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. And now we're going over to John and Debbie. Are you going to introduce yourself? Mute off.
Go on then.
Hi, I'm Debbie. This is my husband, John. We live in Whitby on the northeast coast of Yorkshire, a very old whaling port, and now a popular holiday destination. I first started doing yoga and meditation in the early 1980s and went on to do a teacher training course for teaching yoga and meditation. However, life events got in the way and I didn't actually end up teaching. But I learned an awful lot from the studies, and I've continued on and off for a number of years. I started singing in folk clubs as well, and I was very attracted by songs with a meaning, and a lot of folk songs are exactly that, songs with a meaning. And I learned ones that had a meaning that meant something to me, and we shall sing you some of those later on. Your turn.
My CV is far less than that, except coincidentally, we live in the same place. I suppose my approach to it is my natural optimism, and it's all about love, and giving that out and sharing it, and kindness and little things like that, really. And I'll stop speaking now.
Can I just add something there? We actually met at Whitby Folk Festival in 1997. So we actually met up here, both away from home. And it was about 2 or 3 days later that we discovered we only lived 40 miles apart in Leicestershire, and we never met. So when we sing together, we call ourselves Synchronicity.
Very nice, Debbie and John. Thank you. And Nicola, welcome. Do you want to introduce yourself, lovey?
Hello, everybody. I'm Nicola Kivel. I'm originally born in Bath, UK, but I came out to Spain 30 years ago, and I've got 4 beautiful children. I'm an intuitive, and I also channel galactic families, light families, and my objective is to work on myself. I've got through all the growth that each person needs, and I'm a very joyous person. And my techniques that I use, I help people to choose methods to be very optimistic during their day, to set their day in the morning, and to raise their vibration for a very joyous way of living, and to adopt good habits that help us stay happy and open up our gifts that every one of us have, that we can share with the world and come into a new beautiful way of living. And I'll be here to share a couple of these with you. And it's my joy and my privilege to be connecting with so many people throughout the world in this year 2020. I believe that we're all here to usher in the age of Aquarius. We've come here to do this, each with our own gifts. And I just feel privileged to be here, to be alive at this most magnificent time, and to share with you all the joy of our birthright of a beautiful earth that we're all bringing in together.
That was lovely, Nicole. Yes, love, joy, peace. That's what we're all about.
Absolutely.
So I think it's time to relax, and people are there and they're commenting, but we can't really comment. I don't have a secretary to do that. So welcome everybody. I'd like to begin this celebration with a few minutes just consciously breathing together and just allowing ourselves to remember how we are multidimensional, that we can be focused everywhere at the same time. And as you're tuning in to what you're hearing today from all of us, you can also be conscious of your own breathing, of your own awareness. So I'd like you just to take some nice deep breaths, nice and calm, but deep. So bringing your breath all the way down to your tummy. Just feeling that tummy pushing in and out. It's like you're bringing everything together into this now moment. Just feeling yourself relaxing, getting warmer. And be conscious of breathing in the oxygen and the crystalline atoms that are always in the air, moving through you, nourishing your body, mind, and spirit, giving you life, and breathing out all your tensions and everything that no longer serves you. So other people's energies, everything that's not yours. Just feel how your energy moves through you. And being aware of your body, mind, and spirit as they come together in one harmonious alignment, embracing you, the divine and human, the light and the dark, the positive and negative. the feminine and masculine. Everything coming together in this now moment for you to choose whatever you feel for the good of all. Feel how all your cells are dancing in delight in this sacred caress, allowing you, your heart, to open up more and more and to receive the inpouring of light that you are. So breathing calmly, truly drinking deeply all your fears, all your pains, emotions, and thoughts of concern. Accept and embrace it all, and trust you will always know in each moment how to deal with anything. Now together we can breathe in, deeply in, the collective virus and pandemic and the fear that it is creating. Breathe it in fearlessly, breathing in the chaos and the confusion that surrounds us all. Embrace it. It is all here. Everything has a reason. It has a job. And we welcome it. And yes, you allow your own loving presence, your pure light, as you breathe it in, accepting it, you transmute it. Just breathing in and out. Feeling the love that you are, that loving presence within and without. Receiving and giving yourself a divine hug, like a mother and a child. Feeling so unconditionally loved, no matter the circumstance. Feeling your true natural essence of love, joy, and peace, bubbling up from the core of you, infinitely bubbling up, filling you with the feeling of pure love, joy, peace. Knowing this is who you truly are. A sovereign being of divine love, infinitely replenishing and nurturing yourself. You need no one else. You are free, having authority and power over yourself and your life, responsible for giving yourself the best ever life. And now you breathe out all your bubbles of love. Breathe them out into the world, knowing that your radiance, your love, your joy, your peace causes hearts to flutter, to open, and are eager to feel more. You're orchestrating a grand wave of curiosity, of interest to search deeper within themselves for their own truth. This is our work, to make sure we are happy, joyful, and this radiance will attract like-minded friends to us, allowing us to come together quite organically in celebration, to play, to be creative, to inspire and support each other as we continue this most magical journey of freedom. So breathing in and out, and just being aware of your physical presence here, your feet on the ground, and this now moment, opening your eyes if they were closed. Just feeling oh so loved and joyful. And now I'm going to pass you on to Nicola, who's going to share with us some magical moments she experiences every day.
Okay. Thank you so much, Barbara, for your beautiful words. Everything we're feeling, you're emanating the energy that we've all experienced. We've gathered here this evening to share our journey, our testimony, our sovereignty. And I would love to begin with my story, my lifetime, my journey. I know that we came here and we were numbed, we were asleep, we were plunged into the darkness. When we arrived here, I believe that we all have a gift that we came here to discover, to awaken. And me personally, as a child, I've always been very connected to nature. I literally grew up in my grandmother's garden, and I was blessed to always be very in contact with my higher self. I didn't always realize at the time as a child, but looking back now, I can see that I was quite awake, but obviously with how the world was run, I was conditioned to a certain extent. And as the years went by, staying close to nature, keeping myself close to me, I was very lucky to create very good habits for myself, which just took me higher and kept me healthy, kept me strong, helped my spirituality to flower through some very beautiful practices, which all came to a peak when I had my first child, Daniela, a beautiful young lady now. She's 33 today. And what I've come to share with the world is a beautiful practice of a morning ritual. And this has helped me to stay very centered, and it sets my day with clarity and helps to neutralize and keep a good, healthy reaction when life throws curveballs and situations at you. May it be personal situations or family or any external physical life curveballs. And so I'm very, very privileged and joyous to share what I've been doing for the last 30 years. After Daniela was born, I was very clear that these practices helped. And so in the morning, upon awakening, I open my eyes and I come out of the beautiful slumber of the rest throughout the night. And the first thing I do is give gratitude for another beautiful day that's dawned. I've woken up to another beautiful opportunity to witness and experience my life, my opportunities to grow. And I give thanks for 10 things daily that I've lived the day before, and also generally. And so these 10 offerings of gratitude are always for a new day, for a beautiful, healthy lifestyle, conscious eating. Thank you for everything from nature, from Mother Earth, that is available to us. Our food is our medicine. Also the gift of beautiful people that you attract when you're in a healthy state. It's an upward spiral. Thank you for all the amazing people being attracted into my life to confirm I'm on the right track, and we share life-enhancing experiences. I give gratitude to all the beauty in my life, to witness and appreciate the simple things in life, inner joy, the beauty of all my gifts. Also, a very important practice of gratitude are just the mundane, everyday things for work, for the roof over my head, clean running water, just everything that is available to us. And so through this gratitude, I know that we bind these blessings and we continue to attract them to us, and we stay in a state of receiving. And that's the first practice in the morning before I get out of bed. And so I'm at peace with myself, and I give thanks for anything that could happen during the day to stay in high vibration and keep the clarity. So upon awakening after gratitude, I get up and I prepare a wonderful detoxing tea of ginger, turmeric, and lemon. Some mornings, some honey, and other mornings, just naturally the lemon. And this is amazing. This just flushes your system. It cleanses and detoxes and alkalinizes your body to set your physical body up for the morning. And this I've been following for years, and it's amazing. You flush out the toxins that you can accumulate during the night as you're sleeping. And this wonderful tea helps with this, the detox. Following this, I continue my preparation for the day. I prepare a very light breakfast, usually of fruit. I like my fruit in the morning, but other days I'll have toast or cereals, muesli, a slow burning breakfast that will is easily digested, but it's slow burning, so it avoids any picking, and it just balances your stomach and until midday when you reach lunchtime. And this just sets you up great for the morning. So after breakfast, I go to my journal. I have a journal. There's sometimes life takes over, and if you have children, if you have a routine you need to stick to with work and everything included, obviously my memory, I have a good memory, but I like to jot down everything in an agenda. I usually wake at 7 in the morning, and I jot out everything until lunch, and then in the afternoon, and I block objectives. In the morning, from 7 in hourly sequences, and also I write down notes of anything intuitive that may come through that I find the written word is amazing, because you empty your head and you empty the ego, the mind, and you go into heart center, and your pen just flows. It's almost like automatic writing, where you channel anything that's necessary from your higher self. And there I get so much inspiration, and this helps with my intuitive work. I could have been asked a question, or things that I want to know more about, I need an answer to. And through journaling, you can most definitely take a shortcut and get the answers. They just flow into you. And this is amazing. I spend half an hour, depending, it's intuitive. So when I'm happy with what I've written, I have the information for that day, and the blessings, and any messages for me personally, or for anyone else, because I believe that we are all an answer to someone asking. I believe that messages from the universe, from our higher self, comes through us and through other people. So through this writing, I know I can help others too. And this is my morning ritual. It's a combination of something that works for me, and it gives me clarity for the rest of the day through work, through being out. I find after the morning practice, when you're alone in your alone time, sometimes when you go out into the world and we just have a bombardment of other people's train of thought, the collective. But through this practice, I stay very centered, and I keep a high level of clarity, and I can alchemize any reaction, the fight or flight, the ego, and I stay in my center. And I think it's a beautiful way to live, and if everyone can benefit from this, I truly believe that you can raise your frequency and stay in joy through this practice.
I'm sure. That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much,
You're
Nicola.
welcome, and thank you so much for this opportunity, Barbara. It's a beautiful way to get together and share everybody's.
We have to do it more often, I think.
I'm fine with me. I was so excited to join and do this with all of you, and I'm excited to hear what everybody else gives.
So we're going to move on to Elika. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Welcome.
So I brought two little stories from my blog for you. I like to tell stories about my experiences. So the first. Have you ever been to Lanzarote? Lanzarote is a Spanish island, part of the autonomous Canary Islands in the Atlantic Oceans. There are black, brown, and golden beaches. A long time ago, I found many small green stones on a very specific beach made of black lava, which frames a small emerald green crater lake. Olivine is the name, someone told me at that time. When I looked at the whole dark beach with a distant view that day, I did not see the stones, only the showy green inclusions in the large solid black chunks of lava that lined the beach and the black plains. However, from the moment I looked down at my feet, I could see the pretty little stones everywhere. And from then on, I was able to recognize them a little further away. Some time ago, I remembered this beach and the olive green stones, and suddenly I realized sometimes I march through life and look far back or far ahead, and everything seems pretty black. It seems as if I'm looking out over wide, large areas that look dark. But as soon as I pause for a moment and focus my gaze and my perception on where I am now, suddenly a little green stone glares at me in everyday life. And one another. There, one more sparkles to me. They were there all the time and sparkled. Only I was mentally in the past or the future and in various worried thoughts, the dark areas. It is exactly the same with our true natural joy of life. It is always there, deep inside us. It bubbles through our rainbow source. It sparkles at us. No matter where we are out there with our attention, our natural joy of life is always there, whether we can perceive it or not. In my normal everyday life, it is good for me to care the connection to my inner source, even in small situations. For that, I stop inside myself in small pauses. I slow down and allow myself to be with myself for a while. I breathe softly and perceive what feelings and impressions are in me right now. How long? That can take the waiting time at a red light or on a footpath from A to B. It can be on a walk or when I'm cutting vegetables. Because I don't really like to cut vegetables, the exercise is especially effective here. Or that can be lying on the sofa or on a chair in the sun. And then I can look at my surroundings again with a more hard look. Because the senses have expanded again. Suddenly I hear a bird singing very clearly. A glowing blossom comes into my field of vision. A scent wafts past my nose. The vegetables smell more intense. Often they are very small, calm, unexcited things. And they are just there. They glitter into me and lovingly remind me that everything has many facets and is present at the same time. So, and how does your natural joy of life sparkle to you in your everyday life? Okay, the second. Sometimes something smells good, sometimes it stinks for us. And every now and then, the little things surprise us, not the big ones. Mother Nature presented me a simple formula for my big and small challenges in life, with and without the scent of flowers. In addition to cycling, I love Nordic walking. That means I walk quickly with sports sticks that look like ski poles. Yes. In the meantime, there aren't as many jokes being made as they were about 15 years ago. Well, people have obviously got used to the sight of skiers without skiers at their feet. Next to the village where I live, a small river flows for several kilometers through many meadows and green spaces. We call the area Meadows Ground. There is also a bicycle and pedestrian path that runs parallel to it, but a few meters from the road for the cars. As the name suggests, there are many meadows there, and the farmers regularly distribute the liquid manure there. In Bavaria, this is also called Odel. Okay, I could not translate this word Odel. I found the word slurry. And I'm sure you know what I mean. When they odel, the smell of slurry is in the air. We locals here know it's coming rain. Because the farmers somehow know more precisely when it comes, even if my app on the smartphone reports something completely different. It was a day when I was sportive Nordic walking along the meadows ground. It was warm and rain was expected. And yes, the farmers exported slurry to the meadows. I hadn't noticed the latter when I left home at that day. As I walked, a torrent of stench sloshed into my nose. Oh! Now, when something stinks, we tend to hold our breath instinctively. However, this is not a good idea during a brisk walk. So breathing continued to make sense for me. The wind blew gently and helpfully sent the next surge afterwards. Immediately afterwards, there was another breath of wind, but it suddenly smelled sweet, like roses. I took a few more deep breaths with it. Wait a minute, roses? There were none to be seen on my way. My eyes fell on some meadow plants that had whole clusters of small white flowers. From these tiny, tiny flowers came this mighty abundance of scent. Oops, and there was not the eau de cologne, but eau de slurry in my nose again. Immediately afterwards, the sweet flower scent again. And then I smiled because I felt inside myself, yes, that's all part of life. A few steps further, with walking and breathing, the scent of flowers stayed longer and longer until the fragrance of slurry finally stayed behind me. Breathe and move on. Mother Nature presented me a simple formula for my big and small challenges in life, with and without the scent of flowers. Breathe and move on. Okay. And because of sparkling, you know the other story, I love to create pictures in rainbow colors, and they are most golden or sparkling. So maybe, Barbara, you remember this one? And you see the sparkling maybe?
Yeah, they're beautiful. Yeah.
This is another one. Okay. So it's acrylic painting. And this was experimental cotton lace doilies, you know what I mean? Okay, great. It is an old one, and I painted also, you know, here.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's the gift from me.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Yeah, beautiful stories you tell.
Hi.
So John and Debbie also tell some beautiful stories, but in a different way than us, because me and you are both writers. Debbie and John, they like to sing and act and tell stories. So I'm going to pass you over.
Yeah, apparently. You can say something first.
As I said earlier on, we both have been singing on the folk scene as and when we can over the years, and picking songs that tell stories. And we're following a theme, I think, of love, but love in different ways. And John will start off with one on his own.
Barbara was talking about freedom. This is the story of a young lady who is certain that she wants freedom in her own way. Her name is Erica Levine, and the song's written by Bobby Blue in the 1970s. When Erica Levine was 7.5, up to her door came James Metcalf, and he said, "Will you marry me, Erica Levine?" And Erica said, "I don't know what you mean." "Well, my father and my mother says a fella ought to marry, and my father says his brother, that's my Uncle Larry, never married, and my father says that Larry is a dope. So will you marry me?" said Erica. "Nope. My piano teacher's smart and she's never had to marry, and your father may be right about your Uncle Larry, but not marrying isn't what made him a dope. So don't ask me again, because the answer's no." When Erica Levine was 17, she went to a dance with Joe Bernstein. And they danced to the sound of the sparking bobby socks, because the theme of the dance was a history of rock. And after the dance, Joe kissed her by the door. And he said, "Do you know what that kiss is for?" And she said, "No, I don't, but you kissed just fine." and he says it means that you are mine. And she said, no, I'm not, and she rushed inside. And on the whole way home, Joel Bernstein cried. And she cried too and wrote a letter to Miss saying, this much I know, I'm mine, not his. When Erica Levine was 23, her lover said, will you marry me? Our relationship fulfills a basic need, and I'd like to have it legally guaranteed. But without your precious love, I would surely die. So why not let's get married, said Erica. Why? Your basic needs at your age should be served by you. I'm your lover, not your mother. Let's be careful what we do. For if ever I get married, it will be to grow, not for traditional possession or protection, no. Your basic needs are a different issue. And he cried, and Erica handed him a tissue. When Erica was 30, she was talking to Lou, discussing and deciding things they wanted to do. If we get married, she will live in your place or mine. Mine's rent controlled, yours is on the subway line. And they argued and they talked, and in the end they didn't care. And they bought a little house near Harvard Square. They had a quiet wedding, they wanted it that way. And they thought a lot about the things they wanted to say. I will live with you and love you, but I'll never call you mine. And the judge declared them married, and they all had wine. And a happy ever after life was not the kind they got, but they tended to be happy more often than not.
So I will follow that by singing a song called Maybe Nothing Spoken, written by a very good friend of ours, originally from Leicestershire, now lives in London. His name's Pete Morton, and he writes across a very broad spectrum, social comment and all sorts of other things. He can write meaningful songs in a poignant way, and also in a very humorous way. So there's never a disappointing song that comes from Pete's pen. It's great. And John's going to play Concertina.
In English concertina, it differs from ones that first were made in Germany, because this one plays the same note whether you play it out or in, whereas other concertinas have different notes whether you push or pull. Not that one. Where is it? It's not there. Who's hidden it? We'll get that.
Understanding comes to town, and evil to help behind, and all the world's religions become one in mind. No vitriol, no man is raised, no proven prophets.
Maybe nothing spoken, we might not hear a word.
When Mohammed and Jesus rest deep beneath his eyes, when contradictions all make sense and go straight to eyes, when Buddhist men be Christian fools, the one clap his word.
Maybe nothing spoken, we might not hear a word.
Across the broken, jagged glass of intelligence and voice steps the barefooted gypsy lass who has never had a voice. Shelves are stacked with histories, the loudest there is heard. Maybe nothing's spoken, we might not hear a word. Away from crashing city streets and my political mouth, away from kings and loud dragoons, eruption and open sound. There is a place that's deep inside, where silent love is heard. Maybe nothing's spoken, we might not hear a word. Maybe nothing's spoken, we might not hear a word. Thank you. No. John writes short stories occasionally. He's very good at reading bedtime stories that just come straight out of his head. And he printed this one up the other day for tonight, so he's going to read that now.
And thank you, Barbara, for providing the challenge. Because otherwise, I tend not to. Once upon a time, in a land so far away from here that nobody had ever heard of Brexit, there lived 3 bears: Mummy Bear, Daddy Bear, and Little Baby Bear. Now, one day, as they were all sat round the kitchen table eating their muesli and berries, Daddy Bear said to Baby Bear, "I want to talk to you about my forebears." Now, this really confused Baby Bear because he'd been to school, and as far as he was concerned, there were only 3 bears there, not 4. But he didn't want to interrupt his father, so he hurriedly put a paw full of blueberries in his mouth. "Your great-granddad was born in a zoo, which is a place where humans put animals so that they can charge them, the people, to see them." "But that would be unbearable," said Baby Bear. "I know it's sad, but humans are sad, sadly. Anyway, your great-granddad met your great-grandma there, and then your granddad was born. One day, your great-granddad said to your granddad, 'I am the bearer of good news. You are to be released into the wild.' Your great-granddad was put into a crate and put on board a ship and came here. Your granddad called it the Great Escape, but he was a terrible one for puns. Now, your great-granddad told your granddad lots of things before he went, and he had to memorize them so that one day he'd be able to pass them on to me. He knew there'd be a special day when the knowledge would be needed." Baby Bear was getting a little bored by this time, but he knew that there had to be another dimension to all this, so he kept listening. Now, humans understand just how important bears are because they named 2 of the constellation of stars after us, Great Bear and Little Bear. But they don't appreciate how we all need to help each other. Now, tonight is the night when we're going to try to help the humans, even though you might think that some of them don't deserve it. Now, at the moment, some humans are telling barefaced lies to the rest of the people who are unable to tell barefaced lies or truths because their faces are not bare. They've got masks on and they can only listen and obey. So what we're going to do tonight is to go into the woods and meditate. And if we all do it together, perhaps we can raise the vibrations of the humans so that they become enlightened. Do you know what I mean by raising vibrations, Baby Bear? Does that mean how I feel when all the ends of my fur seem to spark with electricity and my mind is showered with brightly coloured lights? Exactly. It's what makes us able to observe the humans when they make silly mistakes. And even when they destroy our trees, we can still remain calm, knowing that it will all be sorted out by the universe in its own time. Some bears call it being in the 5th dimension. Is that why our address is 5D Joyful Place? Said Baby Bear. Well done, Baby Bear. Hopefully, if we raise the vibrations of the earth, some humans will see through those who rule them, and all the wrongs of those leaders will be laid bare. So later that afternoon, they took a picnic. As a special treat, Baby Bear had a eucalyptus leaf, and they went to the woods. They met other bears there, and each of them found a tree to lean against. They sat down and started their meditation. And there we must leave them, because we all know that once a meditation starts, bears and even humans don't like to be disturbed. And now Debbie's going to sing something and say something.
Quick with props. So in the early 90s, I think it was, I met this wonderful Canadian singer-songwriter. Her name's Eileen Mcgann. That's a picture of her taken quite a long time ago. And this is this is her songbook. She's written loads and loads of songs. And this one appears on more than one of her albums, but she produced one called Light, which is full of inspirational songs. Not only is she an amazing songwriter, but she's an artist. When we were on holiday in Canada a few years ago, she lives on Vancouver Island. We actually went over to see her and her husband David, and that picture was painted just down the road. That's the view that they have over the inlet on the coast on Vancouver Island. And when she finished it, I said I want to buy it as a memory of the holiday. So this is one of her songs, and she prefaces it in her book by a little story. There were some things going on in my life at the time that were kind of dark and frightening. I was thinking about them and worrying, wondering what was going to happen, and finding myself going down the road to fear, realizing at the same time that that's not a good place to go, that regardless of what happens, I'm worse equipped to deal with it if I'm coming from a place of fear. Knowing that intellectually is one thing, but knowledge is different from practical wisdom. So what I was reaching for was the wisdom to act on what I know and not go to that place of fear. And this is the song that came out of that. I just need to lubricate. On the road to freedom, there's a blackbird singing. Wisdom, guide me through my fear. It's a song of joy, sets my whole soul ringing. So wisdom, be my guide. When the map is lost and the road's confusing, wisdom, guide me through my fear. When the path's divided and there's no clear choosing, then wisdom, be my guide. Oh, a time of trouble is a time of turning. Wisdom, guide me through my fear. It's a hard, sharp focus on your deepest yearning, so wisdom, be my guide. Oh, blackbird fly, seeing far, seeing wide. Oh, lift me high, and wisdom be my guide. When the day is dark and the storm clouds looming, wisdom, guide me through my fear. When the lightning's flashing and the thunder's booming, then wisdom, be my guide. Remember, every heart has a silver lining. Wisdom, guide me through my fear. It knows beyond the storm there's a bright light shining, so wisdom, be my guide. Oh, blackbird fly, sing for seeing a while. Oh, lift me high, and wisdom be my guide. Eileen Mcgann. The last song from us, I don't think we didn't get that. Last song for us, a song written by a man called Stanley Accrington. Again, one of those songs that I first heard in the early 90s, and it just struck me what a story he was telling. I started to sing it, but it didn't work very well without a guitar, so I left it alone for a long time. And then I met John, and then he started to learn the guitar, and so I resurrected it. I never thought that the song was finished. And Barbara, remember I read that one verse that I'd written for the song to finish the song off with? This is the song. So the last verse is mine. The planet whirls its weary way. Sorry. The planet whirls its weary way along the road to sad decay. With peace and love and understanding, hold back the demons of despair. Still I need to find you there. The powers that be express their need to maximize potential greed. With peace and love and understanding, form a shelter from their blast. I need you as my future past. Is it too much to ask for equal shares, or that for each problem someone cares? Is it too much to ask for goodness sake that we give a little more than we take? The dream can call the fool. Reality rules as a rule. But peace and love and understanding help disprove these worldly lies. I need you as I close my eyes. But walls fall down and strangers meet. The walls of war are in retreat. With peace and love and understanding, there's nothing that we can't achieve. I need you with me to believe. We can't be sure on any God on high, or celestial spirits in the sky. Mankind's an animal that gets confused because 90% of its brain's unused. If every person needs a cause, then I'll abide by nature's laws. For peace and love and understanding can conquer anything that's bad. I need you to tell me I'm not mad. May we all live in harmony, accepting all and being free. Make peace and love and understanding our watchwords every single night. Let's help create a future bright. Thank you for listening.
That was lovely, Debbie and John. Wow.
Thank you, Barbara.
Great stories and songs.
We've been very privileged to meet some very talented people through the folk scene, and not to know a lot of them, which is lovely. We can count a lot of them as friends now. But I'm going to mute us.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and we're going to go over to Leslie.
Thanks for the opportunity, Barbara.
Pleasure.
Hi, Barbara.
Hello.
It's my turn.
It's your turn now.
I want to thank John and Debbie, brilliant souls. And whilst I'm talking about souls, you see this wonderful crystal I've got in my hand. You see all the prisms that's in that crystal. That's your soul and the changing of all the different prisms in it. And I'm sure you're going through many lifetimes in the same way. So I just wanted to pass that on to you. I'm the author of the author of 6 books actually, but I want to read a little passage out of 2 of those. A Diary Through Masters to Spirit to Masters to Masters, and the other one is Intellectually. We've got a little bit of a lag, so the books are separate as such. But anyway, I came across one to do with the Age of Aquarius, and that's what we're here for tonight, the Age of Aquarius. So this was given to me in 2011, before we met up, Barbara, in 2012. So they were telling us that the 144 grid had been created. And I'll just read this little very short passage. There are 22 gender species within our race. With regards to the 144 grid, as far as we are concerned, this grid encapsulates those who inhabit many worlds of human DNA, which is spread between them. We come in peace with acknowledgement of your angelic realm, which does exist for all of us. And we approach this realm with a calm exterior, blending this realm in with our species, and so attracting like-minded souls and friends, which is what you talked about earlier, Barbara. We have one global capital which is governed in peace, and the eternal leader of our planetary existence rules only upon our loving demise, thus giving an extension of our loving eternally body. That's the internal body. You ask us your bridging links about your transmission satellites and the theory regarding them, and us having some input. Indeed, part of this project is to help mankind to evolve into a calmer race and not to annihilate each other. You ask again about the 144 grid and our take on this. Indeed, there is a pattern emerging whether the power grid placed on the ley lines is beneficial, and you ask, are your minds controlled by this power? And yes, indeed it is. We are privy to this grid and the intellectual concept of markers being placed to safeguard any low frequencies as we speak, so that some of you can be saved if another major catastrophe should happen. This grid will also enhance the 6th sense, merging into the 7th. We are already at that point, into the 7th sense. That's why we're so awakened. For some of you who have to be put amongst you, we are after our own kind. Your earthly world of Homo sapiens were once of a more complex species, where the colony was mostly of men and some special females. That will please John, I think, here. Those females had certain vibrations which were known to block the damaging interfering rays of low sound frequencies. In fact, if you look up HAARP in capitals, HAARP, this gives off a very low frequency. And yes, it did disrupt our knowingness, if you like, for a little while, because this was actually in 2011, I'm speaking here. So as we put that to bed, I will also tell you a little galactic insight. This is lovely. A special galactic insight. In this galaxy, our levels are much the same as your own, using the means mostly of telepathy. And because of this method of communication amongst our people, we feel no hostility, only peace in our hearts towards one another. We feel that your world has yet to learn of this. Hear, hear, I say. Our noble kinsmen are sent first for their speaking ability to be good, and no other person may enter into the inner sanctum of our natural habitat. Our spiritual leaders here say it is high time for more regard of other natural ways to spring from our lower beings, whereby level upon level of us learn from our existence, and moreover the dwellings we wish to repose in to be made of natural substances. We're talking of another planet here, we're talking of another existence here. Our caves are humble but warmly clad, and along with the moderate temperature of our climate, we survive quite comfortably. Our population of off-world blessed events takes place on the birth of an offspring, with a special blessing given, if the firstborn is a male. We do not need to birth by choice as you do. We are given a blessing for such an event. The couple then go forth to copulate. This is our law. The bonding matrimony, the ceremony will begin with this. Our terminology of this ceremony is called O-cute, O-C-cute. Men and women of all communities are allowed to this ceremony, and for this to take place, we are given only certain months in our calendar year. The rest of the time is taken up with other matters. Of law and order, we have no need to adhere to any such thing. Our commonplace law is to love one another till death of the physical body, when the soul then ascends. Much of the same as your own does to a living environment of harmony, and so merging our spiritual realms with yours. Extra special care is taken of our elderly, who are worshipped for their kindness and tuition to the young, leaving much of our time with our offspring, of whom are quite humanoid in appearance, and they are given an allotted time to spend in leisurely activities. We do not need the mind to do mundane tasks. Our robotic friends do all these. Blocks of our cities have inhabitants who are part human, part robotic, who are needed to rule the industry of our world, and there is no payment needed because the state provides this service for us. They also provide amenities for our offspring who do not reside with us till they are fully matured and who are trained in thought patterns, and that pleases us. Our mind energy is the most important function, and these centers are so careful not to put any of the mindsets of the parents forward, and this encourages the child to develop a mindset of his own. Next, our culture is to a greater extent of a musical nature. Again, this will be pleasing to John and Debbie of this race. We also know when we are going to expire from the mortal world to the spiritual one, and we prepare for this, and our tribe is blessed, with the honor of our leader here being one of the eldest. We tell you all this so that when you leave us, you can ponder on the third choice that has been proposed to you, and assure you there will be a place set for you here if you wish it. Leslie, our guardian here, tells us it is time to go, and we remain your godly servant of the world beyond yours. We send blessings to you and hope you return to us again. Now that is a script out of that book. So that's Masters to Masters. It's all channeled. There's nothing from the net in there. It's all spiritual work as it is. So with that in mind, I'm going to ask for one of my wonderful beings to come forward. Just to give you an inkling, this gentleman here on the front is Munxian. He may choose to talk. Or there's a blue being that comes through sometimes from the Galactic Federation, Minstriel, so he may come in. But I'm going to now prepare myself to do some transfigurations. And whilst I'm doing that, if you look, Barbara, the chat room is not open for you to see what questions they're putting in from the chat room. I've had some ladies come in from America and they've sort of tried to open the chat room. You know, the chat in here, they can see us, they can see what's going on, but they can't place any questions. So I'm leaving it up to John, Debbie and Elke here and yourself to present any question to whoever comes through me. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Good evening, my friends. It is a pleasure to serve you. This little one that we talk through, as you know of Leslie, we use her vessel to pass messages through to humanoids upon the earth plane, also known as Gaia. We keep the angelic realm as close as we can to this receptacle for protection. We send love and healing around your planet at this present time. You must look upon the rainbow that this will place around your planet as awakenings happen and people now start to think for themselves. Those awakenings, they will find their heartfelt spiritual awakenings happening here, in the receptacle here, in the center of your bodies. The energies that are coming out of different gateways and portals around your planet is now being fully opened with the points mentioned. Indeed, we do believe there are many, many souls that have been rekindled to your earth plane. And from the beginning of your millennium, there's old souls that have been reunited to this kingdom of yours. They are teaching the young to become awakened in a galactic nature, within the keeping of love, within the keeping of giving out that special vibration around your globe. As I speak now, I hand you over to Minstriel, and it is I, Munxian, who has been with you this evening. Hello, dear ones. I am here to answer questions. Do not be afraid to ask your questions. I am of a high authority within the galactic realms, and we are helping you as custodians of your world to keep you from harm. I see there are many communicating with you tonight. May I go to the leader here in group? Do you wish to say something, dear one?
Yes, I have a question from an audience. How far will this change in the new age? So how far will this change our age, this happening now?
This happening now is happened at the right time. Although there has been many souls that have left your earth plane, they are being replaced by older souls coming back to help the new generations. It takes time for this to take place, but certainly by 2030, when the new generations are of puberty and teenage years, we are talking the old souls that have returned here, will be able to help all those that have had their minds and their hearts open to receive us. I hope this answers the question.
Thank you. Is there anything else you can tell us about the Jupiter and the Satin conjunction now?
There is yet a lot to learn from your scientific fields regarding Jupiter and Saturn. You must look at it cosmically rather than astrology-wise, because the Earth is moving through space all the time, and your planets that are surrounding your planets and using that momentum is drawing closer and waning, drawing closer and waning, not in a circular, but elliptical. So it takes many light years to go to and from. Your scientific field are actually, they've gone through Saturn's rings. They've found new reposes on that planet. There is water there that they have now discovered that we knew about. All the years that your planetoids that have been coming around the Earth plane. The same with Jupiter. Jupiter's moons are the ones to look at, not Jupiter itself. You will find that the moons are habitable. And when I say habitable, I mean that your new scientific astronauts, as you call them, we call them a different name, but astronauts is the term you humanoids use. And you will, in your lifetime, day one, in your lifetime, they will settle upon Mars. They will get nearer to Jupiter, nearer to Saturn, because the Earth is moving towards it. And when the conjunction with Mars and Earth is level, we give you this prophecy that humanoids will actually be settling upon Mars itself and changing the atmosphere around Mars so that you have a safe haven. This planet of Mars that you call Mars, we call it by a different name, but you call Mars of a red desert planet. Not at all. This is only the projections of your telescopes that is going out there is portraying that at the present. But they're being filtered by a certain, can I say, humanoids that don't want you to know that particular reasons. This will be overcome. as your world leaders start to talk in a much more humane way, if I may use this term, so that you can ask questions to your leaders, and with the knowledge of knowing there is another world that you could reside upon in future generations, and perhaps have a more utopian world. And we say hear, hear to this. This put aside, Earth itself will change, the same as your moon will change. You will look at your moon through your telescopes and see the face of it change with the new entrepreneurs that are going there as we speak. And they are not extraterrestrial wires that your media is putting out. Let us put this to rest. There will only be human species upon there as a lift-off base from your moon to these planets I have talked about. I do hope this has been enlightening for you.
Yes, thank you.
Do we have anything more?
We have one more question. One more question from the audience.
Indeed.
About this coronavirus. Will it disappear as suddenly as it came?
Indeed, indeed. This virus, although many have many different views of why it's come, we've even been blamed. The ETs of your world that are keeping your world safe, the custodians of your world has been blamed. But please, this is man-made. This is not extraterrestrial made. It's not come in from the ether. So therefore, it will be eradicated in the same way. The healing that we can give out, the divine healing that all of you that have awakened in that way as being healers can help. The divine healing is the helpful agent that runs alongside the medical aspect of your earthly medical persons.
Thank you. Anything from
My dear
John,
one.
Debbie, or Helika? No, any last message from yourself about this time?
Okay. Okay. You will ride through this time. There are pleasant times ahead, but please learn from it. That's all we ask of you. Please learn from it. We shed many, many a tear for the souls that you've lost to spirit realm. And the angelic realm have been very busy getting their family members together to hold the hand of their loved one as they've walked through that veil. There has been many souls lost, but they have a renewed life. Please look on this as a renewed life for them. It's a new beginning for them. They can help the young ones in spirit realms. They can help those with their wisdom. And I applaud this. And now I've been with the receptacle a long time, and I will allow her to come back to her present self, if there is nothing more to be said.
No, thank you.
I give my heart, my loving feelings to you, to those present and those watching, around your beautiful blue globe. There will be peace again. You will see your loved ones again. But please learn from this tremor that is going on at this present time. I leave you for now, God willing, that we will all meet up again. And good evening.
Thank you.
Just give me a moment.
Have
I
some
need to drink
water.
water. That was a long one.
That was a long one, because questions were coming through.
Well, I've still got him with me, but In fact, I've got 3 of them with me. Echo's also joined us, who's he gave the wisdom of how the planets work, because he's my my traveller, if you like, my spiritual traveller that goes around.
Yeah.
If you've got if you've got anything coming in from the chat room, I can answer myself. Is there anything there?
Not anything more. People have to sign in. Just give what is it? Is it StreamYard? Permission, and then they can comment.
Yeah, StreamYard permission. Yeah, and I have actually said this. I sent it out to Australia, those in Spain, obviously, the ones I know in Spain, and I've added that little bit that you gave me. Please tell everybody they need to give permission. Yeah. Okay. But also Canada as well. I've sent it everywhere that my members are in anyway. But maybe if you do another one of these, Barbara, would be lovely, because they wouldn't understand how you're doing it.
Yeah. We've all got wisdom to share, huh?
Hopefully. And I've got to say, it's not all doom and gloom. Let's lighten the mood. Let's not have doom and gloom.
Yes, somebody's just saying, I had a message from people who can't comment, but we're answering that. You must first get permission, give permission to StreamYard to comment on Facebook, and then they'll come through. But it's a bit late now because we're going to close in a little while. My batteries are going as well.
I've had to plug mine up to the electric so that mine didn't go. I thought, oh goodness, it's got 10% and I'm nearly towards where I've got to come in.
Oh well, it's telling me that, you know, sometimes because people are watching. Yeah. Well, it's been very interesting. Is there anything from Elke or John and Debbie you'd like to say? Anything before we leave? No? Well, it's been very nice, lovely stories and good celebration. And that's all we can be, is to be magnificent, to be the example of living life as it is, with all its darkness and light. Not trying to hide, just embracing it all, even this virus that's going to disappear. Yeah. And they said it was man-made, not alien-made.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Rather than natural.
Barbara, a thought's just gone through my head. I know we've got a few more minutes. If when this goes out live, they can still leave chat in there. They can still leave whatever. I mean, they might have a question for Elke. They might have one for John and Debbie. So you should still be able to see it on a recording.
Oh yes, on the recording it'll go on a replay and people can still comment, and for next time ask questions.
Yeah, that's right.
Leslie is tuned in that way. Well, I suppose we all are in a different way.
Yeah. Huh? It's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you, Barbara.
It's been lovely.
And it's nice to have met John and Debbie, and certainly you, Elke. Yeah. And Nicola, I've got to say before we part, Nicola is definitely an old soul that's come back galactic-wise. And that's why she's going the way she's going, because she's keeping Earth very much in her thoughts. She's tuning in to Middle Earth. She's what I would call an Earth mother. Yeah.
Earth mother. Yeah, she's a real mother. Taking care of our anchor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so all I can say in the close is keep shining your light. If you have a concern, find somebody and talk about it. Get it out. Remember, there's always a solution around the corner. Sometimes we need to wait and just embrace it, because if we just leave it and walk away, it'll keep tiptoeing behind us. you know, knocking us on the back and say, hello, all I want is to sit on your knee and then be embraced. Yeah. Acknowledgement. So, thank you. And if you'd just all like to leave, and we'll leave, because now I'm on red battery.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you,
Bye
Elika.
for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. That was lovely. Alki and Leslie too. And
Yes.
Nicola.
Oh, yeah, Nicola, thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful Christmas and New Year. Bye-bye.
Yes, a wonderful Christmas. And next time, the other people will join.
Yes. And
Because we have so much fun.
yeah, happy Christmas.
I love just.
Right.
Bye.
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 Bye.